If you want free Call of Duty points, click the link down in the description, install the app, and start earning yourself some free Call of Duty points today. Yo, what is up guys? It's the Goblin, and welcome back to another Call of Duty Infinite Warfare video. Now today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys some more tips on Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, brand new Call of Duty, a lot of different things to talk about. I made a video last night talking about how to get more kills in Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. I almost said Black Ops 3 there, because that game just ended and we're on to the new one. And here I'm going to be talking about how you guys can win more gunfights in Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. This video usually does pretty well, and it's a very important tip. Honestly, this was one that, you know, when I was learning how to get better at Call of Duty, learning these tips and how to win gunfights was a major key for me, and I think you guys should definitely pay attention. I made a list of quite a few tips here that are all going to be very helpful. If you just implement even half of these tips or a quarter of these tips into your everyday gameplay style, you're going to be playing a lot better and winning a lot more of those gunfights. But first off, I want to say I'd love it if you guys could all smash up the like button on this video. I'm going to have more videos coming out later tonight as well. I have a really banger video coming out later, so I'd appreciate if you guys could smash up some likes on this thing. That would absolutely be awesome. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. I'd really appreciate that. And the goal would be 2,000 likes today, so if you guys could smash up to that, that would be absolutely amazing. And let's get right into it. But first off, I want to explain to you guys what an actual gunfight is and basically how Call of Duty gunfights work. Now, basically in Call of Duty, or if you're watching my gameplays or you're just playing the game, you'll notice a lot of the time you're going to be killing people by shooting them in the back or shooting them in the side or killing people that literally aren't even looking at you, and that's just based off of smart movement, smart positioning, and smart reactions, and that's what Call of Duty is based a lot about. However, sometimes you're going to get in those situations where it's a straight up, you're looking at the enemy's looking at you, there's no movement, there's no tips that can help you to avoid that gunfight, you're already in the gunfight, you're going to have to take on the gunfight, and that's basically where these tips will come into help. How to win a gunfight that's sort of a 50-50. You're about to shoot, the enemy's about to shoot, it's up for grabs, no one knows who's going to win that gunfight if you were to stop it and put it into a freeze frame. Now, a key to getting good at Call of Duty is you don't want to take these gunfights when you don't have to. You only want to take gunfights that you're pretty sure you're going to win. However, a lot of the times, especially if you're playing an objective game mode or you're trying to play the objective, these one-on-one even gunfights are 100% unavoidable, and that's basically where these tips come in. And also these tips come in for, you know, setting yourself up to win these gunfights and getting those little tiny advantages that can really be the key factors in changing it. So the first tip on my list on how to win gunfights is to have vision. Know your enemies and know where you're going to get into these head-on, face-to-face gunfights before they even happen. A few ways to get vision are obviously, one way is the UAV. Now, a lot of people do run Ghost in this game. Ghost is probably the most overpowered perk right now. I think they really do need to patch it or nerf it a little bit and make it so you have to be moving for Ghost to work. But I definitely recommend running UAV. Knowing where the enemies are at, you can even if only half the enemies show on the radar, you can use those half enemies' locations to base off the locations of the rest of the enemy team. And Ghost is absolutely, or not Ghost, but UAV is absolutely huge for that. Another thing is to run the Pulsar, which is basically like the Vision Pulse. It's on one of the last combat rigs you unlock. That can also be very helpful for getting you set up into gunfights where you have the advantage over the enemy. Or another perk like Recon would work well too. Recon basically lets you steal a bit of the enemy's UAV and lets you get a little bit of a bigger minimap. Having vision is a key. Even if you're heading into these head-on, face-to-face, one-on-one gunfights, if you know when you're going to get to the gunfight before the enemy, that's not really a 50-50 gunfight, even though it's head-on, because you do have the intel or the advantage in that certain situation. Now, my next tip is going to be to aim down sights around corners. Now, this is probably one of the biggest tips in Call of Duty, and I say this every single year so many times. This is a tip that whenever I'm struggling at Call of Duty, whenever I'm maybe having an off day, I focus on this tip, and this is what really gets me back into the game. Aiming down sights around every single corner where you think you may have an engagement on. Now, when you play Call of Duty a lot, when you play the game for a few years, or not even that, when you know the maps on the game, which I know people are still learning the maps in this game, but when you actually do know the maps, you're going to know basically which corners when you're going around, or if you have vision on the enemies, when you're going to get into gunfights. Now, what I recommend doing is using stock, aiming down sights around every corner that you think you're going to have a gunfight advantage in. Most newbie players or beginner players or even average players don't do this, and by doing this you save so much time. Like, you're gonna have such an advantage in the gunfight because you're already aimed down sights. The enemy has to either go for the hip fire kill or try to aim down sights. They might not have quick draw on, they might have an LMG that's kind of slow. There's so many options there. If you're aiming around the sight with a stock SMG or a stock assault rifle, you get an absolutely huge advantage in that gunfight. And that's why that's my number one tip for winning gunfights. Aim down sights around corners where you think you're going to run into an engagement. However, if you do have an SMG, and there's certain SMGs, you have to really know your gun. Certain SMGs in this game, like the FHR-40, the RPR Evo, have insanely good hipfire. Don't be afraid to hipfire if you get in those engagements with those guns. However, if you're using a gun like an assault rifle, it's better just to aim down sight. Start spraying immediately. This is something that I realize a lot of people don't do. They just wait until they're aimed down sights to pull the trigger. As soon as you see a guy on your screen, pull the trigger immediately, hold that trigger down, and spray as you're aiming down sight and finding your target. That's a key. A lot of people are focused on their accuracy and stuff like that, which really doesn't matter in Call of Duty. If you watch my gameplays, you'll see me spraying all the time. As long as you're not going to run out of ammo, as long as you're not going to get caught with your pants down reloading, you can spray your ass off, and that's definitely a big tip into Call of Duty and winning those gunfights is being ready for the gunfights, aiming down sights around the corner with stock assault rifles. Now, there is a lot of attachments that can help you to win gunfights. Like I've already said, stock is super duper helpful. Some other attachments are going to be quick draw. That basically gives you the edge. You aim down sights twice as fast, which can give you the edge over opponents who don't have quick draw in a 100% even gunfight. I always recommend, if you look at all my class setups, usually quick draw and stock is sort of a staple in my class setups, because I'm one that my playstyle gets me into a lot of these head-on gunfights, and I want to be huge at winning at least 70 to 80% of these things, and that's basically why I run that. Other attachments that can help you out are the laser sight. Like I said, various SMGs very good at hipfire in this game. Laser sight just makes them even better. And how I realized this was from going for the hipfire kills to get gold camo with the SMGs. I realized actually how overpowered laser sight is. Another perk that can help you out is the grip. Obviously, on certain guns, grip will help you keep your aim steady. On guns that have recoil side to side, I always recommend grip. On guns that just have a little bit of up and down recoil, I can usually manage that myself just by, when you're shooting, maybe pull down a little bit on your aim. It's not like it's CSGO where you have to pull way down because the recoil is absolutely crazy, but pulling down is something that a lot of people always ask me, how do I control my recoil with various guns like the Vesper and Black Ops 3? And it was basically because me, like, not even knowingly, just in the back of my mind, as I'm shooting a gun with high recoil, I'm pulling down a little bit and aiming at their chest to maybe their groin area, and that's basically how I'm picking people off like that. Another attachment that can help you out is Hollow Point, which basically just gives you extra damage to headshots. That can help you out on certain maps, like a map like Frost. That map is kind of good because it's a small map. However, that map has so many different head glitches, and I really hate it. And that's one map where I'd recommend running the attachment like Hollow Point, or I think it's called something else for energy weapons. I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head, but basically the weapon that's, or not the weapon, but the attachment that is allows you to get extra damage to the head. That would be recommended for maps like that. Maps with a lot of head glitches, that helps you win those gunfights. Now, as far as perks, there are some perks that can help you out with winning gunfights. The first one is going to be Tracker. That simply just helps you with vision, basically knowing where your enemies are going. It shows you the footsteps of your enemies. The next one is going to be Pinpoint. Pinpoint really helps you out because as soon as an enemy starts shooting at you, or as soon as you start shooting at an enemy, it's going to make them glow orange. And how this helps out is you know exactly where to shoot at, or if you're being shot at from someone and maybe you don't know, you know the way the shot's coming from, but you don't know where exactly the guy is. Maybe he's sort of blended in with the map, which I find can happen a little bit on this game. It doesn't happen as much as Modern Warfare Remastered. Like on a map like Bog, you literally blend in, every single person blends in. But sometimes people can blend in on this game, and Pinpoint can definitely help make them stand out. And the other two perks would be Marksman and Gung Ho. Marksman is more for the assault rifle sitting back sort of style. It gives you a name tag above the enemies, which also just makes it easier to recognize people, to see their health bars, to spray them down. I absolutely love Marksman on assault rifles. You'll see me use it in this gameplay here, which, by the way, this gameplay is like 91 kills, a lot of deaths though. I think it's like 20-something deaths, 91 kills, and I think I said 91 kills, that's what it is. 91 kills, I don't know why I'm saying 98, 20-something deaths, but basically this gameplay we end up losing. We try our asses off. I was playing with two of my buddies, and we try our asses off for the win at the end, but we just couldn't pull it out. This map, Grounded, I used to hate this map when I first played it, but this map is actually pretty lit for ground where I actually do like it. Now back on topic, marksman, very good, and also gung ho. If you're someone that likes to rush and doesn't really care about my tip for aiming down sights around corners, maybe you just like going absolutely balls deep rushing, run a laser sight SMG gung ho, and you can literally shoot people while sprinting. That's what gung ho allows you to do, and that can be absolutely huge. Now, as far as other tips for winning gunfights, is you obviously want to have a sensitivity that you're comfortable on. I'll talk about that more in videos where I talk about how to aim better and best sensitivities, but make sure your sensitivity isn't screwing up your aim. That's basically it. Make sure it's not too high. It's something that you're comfortable on. Next tip I will give you guys is a scuff controller. You want to be able to do these jump shots and drop shots, with which drop shots used to be popular way back when in Call of Duty, but now with the advanced movement and stuff like that, jump shotting is the way to go. The way I jump shot is basically with a scuff controller. I use a scuff controller. It gives you a paddle on the back to double jump with, and you can basically double jump while keeping your aim on target, which is an absolutely huge tip and super duper helpful. I'm actually sponsored by Scuff as well. If you guys want to buy one of their controllers, they are quite expensive, but you can use code GOBLIN to get a discount on them. I'll leave the link. It's in the description of all my videos. Scuffgaming.com. You can check out their various controllers. Definitely worth the investment if you're serious about Call of Duty. It literally allows you to double jump and keep your aimed on sight while shooting. And that's absolutely huge for winning gunfights. Another tip I'll give you guys is you can check in the settings and make sure your settings are your things that you're comfortable with. For example, I use a tactical button layout, which makes it easier for me to crouch and to hit those drop shots, which I don't do as much in this game. Usually it's me just double jumping with my scuff controller, but occasionally I will lay down and get the advantage that way. And I'm sure there's other settings, like there was a bumper jumper one in Black Ops 3, which allowed you to do double jumps while keeping your aim on target a little bit easier. And I think there are similar settings in this game. I'm not quite sure exactly. I haven't had a chance to look through them yet. I've been too busy grinding the game, but you guys can check those out and customize them if you don't want to buy yourself a scuff controller. But like I said, it's definitely a worthy investment, and make sure to use code GOBLIN, of course, for that discount if you guys do it. And that's basically all the tips I have for you guys on how to win more gunfights. If you don't have to take all these different tips. Take a few of these tips that you think are really useful. The main one, like I said, aim down sights around corners and get vision. Know when you're going to run into these straight up. Just because it's a face-to-face gunfight and it may look 50-50, if you set yourself up using these tips here, it's definitely not going to be a 50-50 gunfight, and you're going to have a huge advantage in those gunfights, and that's definitely what I would recommend. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you guys could drop a like on this thing, I'd really appreciate if you guys could smash out 2,000 likes. That'd be absolutely awesome. This is actually a long commentary. I didn't realize I was going for 12 minutes. That's absolutely crazy. A topic I'm very passionate about, winning gunfights, and it's something I really do enjoy. I love giving tips on Call of Duty. There's still a lot of tips to be given. There's still a lot of class ups to be done, and it's going to be a great year for Modern Warfare Remastered as well as Infinite Warfare. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Subscribe for a cookie and don't looky. Drop a like on this thing. 2,000 is the goal. Obviously sub if you're new and all that sort of stuff. I'm just pumping out these vids, man. I'm having a great time. This gameplay, you can see I use a lot of these tips, and a lot of these gunfights, like on a map like Grounded, these gunfights are literally straight up 1v1s, or not 1v1s, but straight up face-to-face gunfights, and these tips literally save my ass. I have so much vision in this game. I use stock, I use quick draw to get around these corners, and I basically have a class up that I'm comfortable with, and I'm able to get these kills with by using a bunch of these tips. You guys can see it and work in this gameplay here. Unfortunately, we couldn't pull the win out at the end, but you know what? It was still a very fun game, and Defender is definitely a pretty fun game mode if it lasts the full time. So thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe for cookie and don't looky, and I'm out. Peace.